Hi, my name is Straley, and I am here today to give you a speech for my COM101 class. Here's my audience up to. Here are my note cards. All right. So today the speech that I've brought to you is on the excessive use of electronics and the negative effect it has on sleep and productivity. Help! I'm addicted to my phone and I can't get off. Electronic use is at an all-time high. Teens spend more than 3 hours a day on social media. Sleep deprivation among our youth is a real thing. The info that teens absorb on social media is mostly useless, purely entertainment, and yet it has a negative effect on their sleep, self-image, and worse, depression. My claims can be supported by credible sources. I've drawn information from the BBC article, heavy social media use linked to poor sleep. As adults, and really as human beings, we have all been sucked into the internet and Googling our eyes until they bleed. Limiting the amount of time our youth spend on electronic use is the task at hand. To support my claim, I will convince you with the negative effects of teens' excessive use on their phones. To start, let's get an idea of how much time teens are spending online. Major shifts to our education system during COVID-19 affect how much time that students are required to be online for participation, attendance, and completing assignments. That being said, these same youth still crave that time for socializing with their friends. Due to the current pandemic, physical contact is pretty much prohibited, not allowed. We're fully in the era of digital communication. So if we add school with pleasure, how much time does that add up to? An article on QZ.com reports that teens spend 9 hours daily on social media. They also have to attend school, and that's about 6 hours if you combine school time and, let's just say, doing their assignments. Professor of Pediatrics Robert Lustig of USC, an author of The Hacking of the American Mind, stated that kids are definitely addicted. And in his words, it's not a drug, but it might as well be. It works the same way, it has the same results. You guys, they're spending about 15 hours a day minimum if you combine social media and schoolwork. Is there a rehab for tech addicts under 18 years of age? Screen time actually reduces the amount of melatonin produced in our bodies that we need to get necessary sleep. As defined by Merriam-Webster, melatonin is a hormone that has been linked to the regulation of circadian rhythms. So the blue light emitted from nearly every screen that teens are using affects the production of melatonin production negatively, and it affects the REM sleep cycle. This is really happening, guys. This is a true story about my son's older sister that she told me. Her name is Savannah. She's 14 years old. She said she fell asleep during her math class on Zoom. In the year 2020, the year of the pandemic, teens attend school virtually. It is most likely not interesting for them or nearly exciting enough to keep their full attention. So how hard is it to stay awake in class for a teen who is surfing social media until the wee hours of the morning? Teens are not able to process or retain information because they're too tired to be mentally productive. They feel like they're going to miss out on something if they get off of social media. And it seems to me that that's their only connection to the real world, in their minds anyways. Think back to your teenage years. When you could go to the movies, go hang out with friends, go to the beach, maybe the lake, depending on where you grew up, a water park, hang out after school, go to a dance, go to a football game. The list goes on for us. But the teens of the 2000s are the youth of the technology era. A distraction foreign to us as teens of a different time. We actually got to experience life firsthand, not secondhand through an app or virtual window. There has to be a way to relate to today's youth, to teach them to connect face to face and form authentic, organic, and personal connections. Although at times it seems hopeless, if we put the time and effort into our teens, we can help them rest a little easier. For changes to happen, screen time must be regulated. Here are some suggestions to jumpstart a conversation with your teen. This one's gonna hurt, but all electronics will be limited to 1 hour daily, with the exception of school-related use. Set an earlier bedtime for everybody else in the house. Everybody's got to do this together. To replace the boredom and social media withdrawal, come up with activities like taking an art class, doing a puzzle as a family, build something together, movie night. Get creative, make it personal. Paint your teens a room with them. Or just let them rearrange it if that's out of the budget. The key is to be creative and take a genuine interest in getting to know your teen. These methods require patience. The typical teen will be very uninterested and bored at first. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's gonna be a struggle. More than anything, it's gonna take time for everybody to adjust. I expect some of you to say this is never gonna work, that what I'm saying is unrealistic, or perhaps that you simply don't have time for this. And you might be right, but how will you know if you don't at least try? If you don't water a plant, it won't grow. It'll die. Look at this child of yours as a plant. Nourish your plant, nourish your relationship. Are you avoiding spending time with your teen? And are you letting electronics raise them? Let's see if we could try something different together. Now, I love to have family time that doesn't feel forced for any of us. So imagine not being the first to wake up in a house of 5 children, but instead being greeted by happy children that are all together at the kitchen table, eating breakfast as a family. But wait, there's more. There's a coffee pot brewing already with your name on it. Mom, Dad, now picture this. After having your 3rd cup of coffee at 10:30 a.m., you're waking up 5 grumpy children from their beds. Grumpy, whiny children that you had to tell several times to go to bed. The last time was at midnight last night. Which children do you want to wake up to? I know which ones I'd choose. Sleep affects the quality of our children's lives very early on. In closing, let me remind you, electronics have a negative impact on our youth if not used in moderation, which at this time is unavoidable because they have to use it, but moderately. Let's teach them moderation. Teens aren't born with a tablet in their hand. They come out of the womb and they're handed to mom and dad. So let's replace our social media with social time together again as a family. Put down the phone. Be the example, lead by example, mom and dad. When you're walking into the store, put the phone down. When you're walking through the grocery aisle, just put the phone down. if we don't practice if we don't practice what we preach as parents, how will they ever listen? Thank you. Thank you for your time and your patience.